So today I want us to look at the chambers of the heart, also the valves of the heart, right? So if this is your heart, right? This is your heart and it have four chambers, right? So these chambers are created by the vertical septum, also the horizontal, right? So what you need to understand is that if this is the right side of your heart, this is the left side, right? So this septum here, this first chamber, it will be the atriums, right? This will be the atrium, this will be the ventricle. So it means the four chambers of the heart is what? The first one is the right atrium, right? So it will be the right atrium, right? So that's the first chamber. And the second one, it will be the left atrium. So you have two atriums, you have the right and the left atrium. And then also you have two ventricles, so you also have the right ventricle, and also you have the left ventricle. Okay, so these are the chambers, is the right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. But we need to also know the name of this septum, right? So this septum is between what? The atrium, right? So because this septum is between atrium, something that is between something, we say it's inter. So this one will be the inter, what? Because it's between atrium, so it should be the interatrial septum, right? So a septum is like a wall. So the wall that is between what? The atrium, we call it interatrial septum. And then again, the wall that is between what? The ventricle, because it's between the ventricle, we'll call it interventricular septum, right? It's interventricular septum. We have this septum which separate the right and the left atrium, so and the right and the left ventricle. The septum is very important because remember that on your right side of your heart we have the deoxygenated blood. So the blood that flows on the right is deoxygenated, while the blood that flows on the left we say is oxygenated. So the oxygenated blood does not need to mix with the deoxygenated. So deoxygenated and the oxygenated blood does not need to flow in the same way, right? So that's why hence the septum, right? And then two, the horizontal here, it forms what? The valves. There are two valves here, right? So the valves that are there between the, because they are between what? Because they are between the atrium and the ventricles. So collectively, these valves, they are called the atrioventricular valves, right? It's atrioventricular valves. So the two valves which are there are called atrioventricular valves. So those valves is what? Is the tricuspid valve which is on the right. So here this valve is the tricuspid, right? And then here on the left we have the B, which is the bicuspid. So the names are very important. Tri means three. So the tricuspid valve is a valve that looks like three cups. Tricuspid. So it's a valve that looks like three cups. While the bicuspid is a valve that looks like two. Bi means two. It's a valve that looks like two cups, right? So hence that's where they get these names. And then the other valves that we have the semilunar valves, right? They are getting the name of semilunar valve because they look like a half moon. So because of the look of a half moon shape, they are called semilunar valve. So the semilunar valve are two valves. It's what? It's the pulmonary valve, right? So it's the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve. So it's the pulmonary and the aortic valve. So those are what are the semilunar valves. So you need to know the position of this valve. The pulmonary valve is between what? Is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary trunk. So between the pulmonary trunk and the right ventricle, you have the pulmonary valve. And then between the aortic valve, the aorta I meant, and the left ventricle, you have the aortic valve. So these are the four valves of the heart and the four chambers of the heart. So this is very important if you want to understand the heart. So it have four chambers, it also have four valves. And also remember what? The septum. And one thing that you should note, in a fetus, the septums are not there. So why? Because there is no need to separate what? The deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood, because the fetus get what? Their blood from the mother. So these septums, they are not there in what? In the fetus. Okay, so these are the chambers of the heart. Thank you.